feel more like a family Thanksgiving dinner. I think we saw that happen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Before we get started, reminder, disconnect from the Wi-Fi, silence your phone, and don't block the camera. We're going to go really quick with gratitude moments as well as property pitches, just so that we give Broker Bob enough time for him to do his presentation.
Boring ass presentation.
I didn't say that. So let's get started with gratitude moments or wins for the week. Who has one?
I'd just like to thank this market center for making this head and shoulders above experience for everybody all the time. We've always feel super loved, and it makes us be able to brag and say how great we are.
I want to second that. This morning I was actually thinking about how I've been here for almost 4 years now, and it just, like, I can't go anywhere else. You guys offer so much to all of us, and it's really like family. So thank you. Thank all of you.
Yes. That's why you guys can yell that too. It's like family. Part of it. Thank you, Stephanie. Anyone else? Okay. We want to take a time to recognize that we have a new member in our team, Luis Flores.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely want to extend some gratitude to everybody who's been so welcoming and me. A lot of old faces here that I love to reconnect with. There's a lot of new faces this here, so I'm just really happy. I'm really happy. It's great to be around Nancy again. You know, we worked together back in 2011, and just so everybody knows, Broker Bob, he was my original real estate coach, and he's got a really good story about catching me at Sprouts one day, and he'll probably share it with you guys. But yeah, more than anything, I'm really grateful to get this opportunity to work with all of you, and I plan on meeting with each and every one of you just to see how we can, move your business forward and make 2026 your best year ever. So if there's anything you guys need, don't get weird. Give me a call, shoot me a text, email. Good weird is bad, bad weird is not. So let me know. Again, I plan on, earning your trust and just being here as a resource and making sure that we get off on the right foot for 2026.
We have a lot of stuff coming up for you guys, such as lead generating and cold calling and everything that you can think of. So be ready. Be ready to be here and be ready to be uncomfortable with the good stuff. Property pitches. We're just going to leave 30 seconds to each one. So if you have one, please just help us go as fast as you can. Claudine.
Real quick, 3503 Quimby Street, Point Loma, 1.85. We're in escrow on her replacement property. I need to get this in escrow. Call me.
Good job. Yes. Who else?
5483 Adobe Falls Road, unit number 7. It's a condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It's just north of the 8 freeway, kind of next to SDSU. $540,000 for the price, and it's got a pool, it's got a spa, and it's got a clubhouse too. Lockbox is there if you need to see it.
Thank you, Miss Ann. Great. Stephanie, you have one? No. Nicole.
6775 Alvarado Road, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, little over 1,100 square feet. They broke the living room down and added a wall, so you have like an extra den or office. We're asking $475.
Anybody else? That was so fast. Thank you, guys. Alicia. Run.
Coaching shout outs. Vanessa is not here, but she closed her very first escrow. And Tomas got 2 more beers. He's coaching with Robert.
He has a question for you.
So we would like to send congratulations to Jen and Deb from Nicole on their closing. Congratulations. And video idea. If you want this, take a quick screenshot. This is just an idea. I will also post this on the Facebook page if you miss it. But spend this next week. I know we'll be closed here in the office, so use that time to get some content and post, because there's still 6 weeks left and you can really jumpstart your 2026 if you're talking to a bunch of humans, and you'll probably be around a bunch of humans next week. So these are video ideas called Noble if you need editing help. Big round of applause for everybody up on this slide. Christine wants to
She's not here.
Okay, remind me to connect with you on that. She had a really awesome transaction. It was tough and she made it through. And we just wanted to call special attention out to her because what you guys do every day, sometimes transactions go swimmingly. Many times they do not. And persevering through those really hard ones really shows your character and who you are as a business owner. So big props to Amy. I know it was a tough transaction that she just got through. Lastly, I know there's a confusion about this. So the next class, if you've done business planning and then you did the GPS, which you could either do with me in person or watch the video. If you've done business planning and GPS, the next step is 411. Ashley is teaching that Thursday, December 11th at 11 a.m. here. So that's the next date to put on your calendar. To go into this though, you have to have your GPS done. Your 411 doesn't make any sense if you didn't do your GPS. There's nothing to do. So to help you get to this class, once you've done your rough draft of your GPS, email it to me. I'm going to be accepting them up until December 5th because that'll still give me time to review and get you notes back before the 11th. So email me your GPS, your rough draft, by December 5th so that you can attend Ashley's 411 class on the 11th at 11.
Good job. Thank you, Doctor. And that's it. Wow, we broke records, guys. Here you go, you're a master. Hold on.
Nancy. So, I wanted to share a little story about Louise. I'm so glad Louise is back. So, Alicia will understand this because she coaches new agents into the business. Back when I was the productivity coach for the office, like Alicia, they become your children. And they're so excited to have Louise come home because he's like my child coming home. So, yeah. And he was one of my favorites coaching. So the story is, I don't know if you all go to Sprouts, because Sprouts used to have, go back to the deli, you get a sandwich and chips or whatever. So I used to do that a lot because I just loved going to get their sandwiches. Middle of the day, I'm at lunch, I'm going to get a sandwich at Sprouts, and I see this guy in the fruit and vegetable section. His wet face turned completely white, like he was caught. He was supposed to be out doing open houses or door knocking.
Yeah, this is like during like I think it was called 443 back then. I'm not sure what version or how that sort of evolved. But yeah, it was on one of those days where I'm sure Coach Bob thought I was out there door knocking or doing open houses, and I swear I it's like he looks at me just really calm, like, hey.
But we had that's called a defining moment in your life where your life changes and you realize, because I think something switched in his brain that day. Because we came back into the office and we did a coaching session. It was like maybe the next day or something. And he recommitted to the real estate business. And when he recommitted, this is what I made him do. I said, come with me. So at that point we had Brian Kane, who now works at La Jolla, Darren Triolo, who's up at our Carmel Valley store. We went to each one of these agents. They were our top agents at that time. And he reaffirmed the commitment with them. And it changed his world. And because of that, now he's going to be leading you guys. And because of what he went through, he will now have the ability to help you guys get where he went. So welcome, Louise. I'm really glad. So let's get into risk management. I appreciate you guys' time today. We're going to cover, we're going to do a little BRBC pop quiz, see if you guys can answer the questions correctly. AB 2992, that is the law in the state of California that covers the buyer-broker agreements. And how to handle an invalid BRBC as a listing agent or a buyer's agent, if that comes up. And then we'll cover the new laws, and if we get to the title scam alert that I sent the email out last week, or yesterday, we'll get to that. I saw this quote I thought is fitting for the day. Because things are the way they are, things will not stay the way they are. A German writer named Bertolt Brecht. Who has been in the business longer than 3 years? Has the last 2 years been like hell? You guys have gone through changes, the new NAR settlement, all the other changes, the challenge in the real estate market. I just got off of a car. It's called the Car Statewide Big Broker Call. These are all the brokers that have 100 agents or more. And we do it once a month with all the car leaders, and we talk about stuff that's going on the ground and things that they want feedback from us. I can tell you, all my contemporaries on that call, we all look like we've been rode hard and put back wet. Because we are all tired because of the changes to help you implement. And there's still more coming up that will affect you guys and how you do business. But the point is, I want you guys to celebrate the fact that you're all still here. This has been a rough 2 years. If you're here and you're still standing, give yourself a round of applause for being here. Okay? All right, let's see if you guys can do the pop quiz. First question. A BRBC is incorrectly consummated. In other words, it was for 6 months for an individual. Can you use a modification of terms, the MT-BR, to be used to modify the expiration date to 90 days and make it valid?
No.
I don't believe so.
Show of hands, yes. You can use the modification of terms to correct it. Show of hands, no, you can't. Okay, the answer is no. No, a defective BRBC cannot be cured retroactively to make it valid. It becomes void and unenforceable. So why do I bring that up? What happens if you have a void and unenforceable BRBC? You face the possibility of not getting paid. And so as a listing agent, so we still get these invalid, unenforceable, voidable BRBCs coming across our listings that we have that the listing agent did not validate to make sure that the BRBC was correct. And thus what happens is you put the seller in a position, because the seller, if the seller found out post-close that the BRBC was invalid, they could have a claim against you as the listing agent. So we've already done through the guidelines of how to go through the process of that, and Mark has a new guideline sheet attached to this. This will all be sent out of steps you need to do to make sure that you get a fully executed correct BRBC. Did she show her hands?
Yeah, if it's not valid, your seller can choose not to pay the buyer's agent. But,
Yes.
but they also run the risk of that buyer canceling.
True. But your duty as the listing agent is to inform them to make the decision they want. That's where you can get trouble. If you don't inform the seller what their options are, then they can have a claim against you. So most sellers so far have said, yeah, I'll agree to pay. Go ahead. But get the valid BRBC. Because even though the NAR settlement created the BRBC that we're using today, AB 2992 reinforces that settlement with a few more nuances and changes that you all need to be aware of. Okay. What if the modification of the BR is completed after an RPA is accepted? Does that change the answer?
No, we would just have to do what you just showed.
So the answer is no. Who else says no? Got 3? Everybody else afraid? 4? Okay, answer is yes. It strengthens the compliance issue under both the NAR settlement and AB 2992. A written buyer-broker agreement must be signed before showing a property or drafting an offer. If the MTBR or any modification occurs after acceptance, it does not retroactively establish agency or compensation rights. Okay? The agent may have deemed to have acted without a valid contract, and any attempt to backdate or sign after acceptance could be seen as misrepresentation or breach of fiduciary duty, and the broker likely forfeits the right to collect compensation from the buyer unless they comply in agreement. Why do I bring this to you guys to educate you guys to be the best?
So you get a paycheck.
So you get a paycheck, but why else?
So you don't get
So you don't get sued, but
So you don't get sued.
if you don't get sued, why else?
So our agents don't get this.
So you help us educate the industry. Because it's about a 40% gap in the industry that have agents that don't have brokers as good as me, or as good as all the other brokers out there that train their agents. There's just a lot of agents that don't pay attention. So it's our role to up the industry by helping educate these agents that might need that education, or inviting them into KW Metro to become working here. Okay? Does the answer change if the modification term is for extending the expiration date or increasing the commission?
You cannot increase that commission. Oh, yes, you can, I guess.
Partially.
Yeah.
Trick question.
Yeah.
If the original BRBC was valid, and it can be used to extend the expiration date or adjust the commission, provided the terms still complies with AB 2992 90-day limit and both parties consent in writing. But if the original BRBC was invalid, the modification can't correct it. It must be replaced with a new valid agreement. Always confirm any increase in compensation should be clearly explained and agree to avoid any potential fiduciary issues. Would getting a buyer to sign a BRBC after an accepted contract be a breach of fiduciary duty if they are not told that they aren't legally obligated to pay commission because this form was completed per AB 2992?
Yeah.
Yes, potentially a breach of fiduciary duty and misrepresentation if the agent fails to inform the buyer that the prior to or current agreement was not compliant and therefore unenforceable. The buyer could argue they were misled into signing something under false pretenses. Transparency is required, and failure to comply with a statute voids the agreement and may be subject to agent to DRE disciplinary issues. All right. So in this handout that's going to be mailed out, I'm just reviewing the AB 2992. We won't go in depth on this today, but I do want you to go through the handout that will be mailed out after this meeting today so you understand the nuances of AB 2992 in relationship to NAR settlement. And unfortunately, the DRE has not issued their rules on how they're going to enforce AB 2992. They promised October, then November, and now here it is almost December, and we don't have it yet. But once they do issue, I will let you know that now, once AB 292 is in full effect, even though it became law January 1st, the DRE hasn't really gotten their stuff together on how they're going to make sure they oversee it. Okay? So on this link is the handout for the invalid BRBC procedure. If you're a listing agent or you have a listing, please go through this document that Mark spent some time to put together and make sure you understand the process. If you accept an offer, what you're supposed to do to verify that the BRBC is valid and enforceable. Okay? Because you're responsible for that. And if you're a buyer's agent, please go through it too and understand what you need to do to get your BRBCs compliant. But I think everybody in this office is pretty good so far. It's the people on the outside I want your help educating and training. All right, let's do new laws. You all love new laws, right?
I feel like I'm on Bill Maher with the new rules.
Well, I used to watch them all the time, not anymore. Okay. AB 723, anybody know what that is? Became a new law. It'll become a new law January 1st.
Is it the digital one?
It is, the digital enhancement.
Oh, yeah.
So this law regulates the use of AI, and we're not going to do the slides on this. I'm going to talk about this because it's too much for the slides. Regulates the use of AI generated or digitally modified photos in real estate marketing materials. What it requires. Actually, I do have slides on this one. Any real estate professional or anyone acting for them who posts or distributes a digitally altered image must include a clear, conspicuous statement near that image that has been digitally altered and provide a link, a UR or a QR code to the original unaltered image.
Does that include virtual staging? No. Okay.
We'll get into where it is. So, includes but not limited to fixtures, furniture, appliances, flooring, walls, paint, color, hardscape, landscape, facade, floor plans, elements outside of or visible from the property, including but not limited to street light, utility poles, views through windows and neighboring properties. What is not digitally altered image is lighting, sharpening, white balance, color correction, angle, straightening, cropping, exposure, or other common photo editing adjustments are made that do not change the representation of the real property. Okay?
So then under that, if you had it digitally staged, does it have to have on the photo digitally staged, or can you have it in remarks?
We're going to get to that. Hold that question. Because I'm going to
Just so
tell you.
excited.
Because right now, I'm just covering the law. What happens when the state legislator creates a law? Especially in relationship to the real estate industry.
We have to figure out how to practically execute and enforce it.
Yes, they leave it up to us as the industry to figure out how to implement the law that they put together. Because do all state legislators, have they ever practiced real estate?
No.
No. So they leave it up to us to figure out. So there's many discussions and conversations going on with California Association of Realtors, the Department of Real Estate, and all the MLSs. How are we going to implement this? So we'll get to how we're going to implement it. Yes?
I had someone ask me recently that they were out of town about a listing that Steve, my team lead, has in the desert, asking about the orientation because there was a dramatic sunset edited in. So where does that fall? Because the sun is not set in the direction that the sun
Well,
Are you laughing at me or the question?
with a setting to the west or the east? Well, sunrise is from the east.
I guess it could have been a sunrise. You're right. Yeah. So do I need to show?
Well, the question is, was it digitally altered? That's the first
I
question.
guess so, yeah.
Okay, so the new rule starting January 1st is it would be the responsibility of the agent to disclose that that photo has been digitally altered. Now, how do we do that? Well, there's been conversation of, so here's the issue. So the MLS doesn't, who's gotten an MLS letter from a listing, MLS fine from a fine from the MLS email that your photo doesn't match their rules? You got to remove it? Yeah, all of it. They're going up. They're increasing the amount that they're coming out. Why?
Because AI.
Because they're using AI to figure out stuff within the MLS that may or might not be right or wrong. And 90% of the time it's wrong that they're stating that you're wrong. So then they go back and say, oh, sorry, that's AI. So they're using AI to police and survey you guys, but most of the AI they're using is telling them the wrong thing to fight you. So that's one issue going on. What this new law is stipulating is when you have a digitally altered photo, how are we going to put it out there? So let's go back then to watermarks. Watermarks on a photo. The watermark that you guys are mostly getting fined for, Gary, it was what? It had what did it have in your photo?
It was the photographer's logo.
The photographer's logo.
Then they also got me because I had a blurred sign.
Your blurred sign.
The post.
Yeah, so you,
post in there.
like some people will take, and it's just innocent that you do it. You take a picture of the front yard and it just happens to have your for sale sign in the front yard. You can't put that in your MLS photo. It's got your name on it. So stuff like that. They call that a watermark. So a watermark is something that would direct somebody to something else. And unfortunately, our MLSs don't allow watermarks. So now we were on a call locally with Saul Klein, he's the SDMLS head. How are they going to implement it? He doesn't know. They're asking us, what do you think best practice should be? So we have 5 weeks to figure this out. So I bring this to you today is news to follow on this. We don't have the answer. They haven't published the answer. So we not only have SDMLS, we have CRMLS, because we have some people that don't have, are part of other associations. They haven't issued rules yet either. And on top of it, we have what's called broker sites. So we have a KW.com. Redfin has their own site. Zillow has a site. The law doesn't cover the Redfins and the Zillows, but it could cover the brokers. Would be responsible for making sure that their websites with the photos comply with AB 723. So within the next 5 weeks, I just want you guys to be open to the emails that I will send out once I know more information and read it and just become aware of it. Okay?
We also get flagged for having a URL on the listing.
Yep.
So
Yes.
they want us to have a link to a publicly accessible listing.
Again, so
Doesn't make any sense.
the legislature enacted the law, but they don't understand how the MLSs won't allow you to do URL links or QR codes or stuff like that. So do we do a picture? You might have to do a picture of side by side of the digitally enhanced photo and the original photo.
I've seen it done both ways, where you just have all the digitally altered ones, like digital staging, and then the last part of the listing is all those photos with nothing in it.
Yeah.
I just imagine in January, my inbox from the MLS Finance Department is going to be full. Because everybody's, and then don't freak out if you do get a fine or you get that email to correct within 6 hours. I mean, who has sometimes 6 hours to get something corrected? You could be camping or something or whatever. You don't see your email. But don't freak out about it. We can get it corrected, is my point.
Professional photographers should not put their watermark on and.
You would think they would all know that too, don't you?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but there are some professional photographers that don't. They put their watermarks on everything. Gary?
You came back to me now. What it was the diagram that the photographer did for me. It had the company or the software you used, and that was visible.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. It wasn't actually on the photo. So it also applies to the diagram.
Crop it out.
But you got it corrected, right?
Crop it, and then that was it.
You got it corrected, no fine.
Right away. Right.
Yeah.
No fine.
Yeah. Just know when you get the email, I get the email, I will send you the email to confirm that you got the email. Don't think that I'm schooling you. Just think, hey, I'm just covering your bases to make sure you don't get a fine. There was a case where an agent wasn't getting the email, it was going to their spam. And then finally they got the fine, and I'm like, did you not get this? And I'm like, no, I didn't get the email. Okay, that's where I just enacted the practice of sending it to you again to make sure you got it.
How do we think that the floor plans are gonna be affected by this since it's not?
I don't know.
Property.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what each MLS rule comes up with. But what they're saying is, so if it is digitally altered, it has to be, make a statement that it has to be reasonably conspicuous, located on or adjacent to the image, and must state that the unaltered image can be accessed or linked to an internet website, URL or QR code. Okay? That's the law, but that's not the MLS rules. Yeah. Rules to follow. So here is a original picture. Okay?
Please.
And here's this is Misael's new listing. This is what it is, right? Adobe Falls, right? Yeah. But right there, altered image, the unaltered image can be accessed here by clicking that link. That's kind of what the law wants you to do, is have a link within the picture to access it. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen. We'll see. Okay? Again, providing the link, URL, or QR code. Is the disclosure in this photo reasonably conspicuous? This will always be a judgment call. And does the disclosure have to appear in the picture? No. Here is the statement as is on the photo, but it must also be placed adjacent to the photo. So again, this is the law. We'll see what the MLS rules come up with to enforce the law. They're going to probably have to change some of their practices, or who knows. And this was the final slide that Joe skipped ahead. Well, what is the MLS? We can't do a QR code. We're going to wait for the MLS to tell us how we need to operate. Hopefully that will come by the end of the year, and if not, we'll see how long it takes. Knowing that AB 2992 has not really been enacted, and it was in law January 1st of this year, I think there will be some leeway to go through this. But my point on this is, please stay tuned, stay informed, and do me a huge favor, read my emails I send out and my Facebook posts, because I only want to send stuff out that's important, but I don't want you guys to be RDRs. Who does not want to be an RDR?
What's an RDR?
Realtors don't pay.
You were blind.
Oh, Joe!
Good, Joe.
You missed all the good part.
So that's the first law. The next law. You'll love this one. No, it's a good one. It's actually a good one. So it's SB 410. Who's aware of SB 410?
Yep.
You guys didn't go read the new laws that are coming out that was put out in the car email last week? You're waiting for me to do it. This adds balcony inspection reports to the standard HOA disclosure packet for condo sales. Ah, you like this law, right? Those who said, what does it mean? Who wants to volunteer what that means?
More escrows falling apart.
No, less.
Well,
You
because you
think?
have it up front.
Yeah, they do, but yet.
Who's had an escrow where the HOA did not want to disclose their report?
That hasn't been the
And the
problem.
lender wouldn't
Yeah.
fund because the HOA would not give their report.
Yes.
Now the HOAs have to follow the law and give that report to the sellers so the sellers can disclose it to the buyer, and the buyer can get it to their lender so they can get the effing loan funded so we can close escrow. We've had about 5 or 6 of those happen where the HOAs were refusing to give us that report, and the lender says we can't fund. Can't fund. So this is good law.
Who pays for the inspection? Who pays for the inspection?
Well, the condo associations pay. They should have already done every condo that is up for sale should have already had their inspection, and that inspection is owned by the HOA. And then now the HOAs are dealing with whether or not that they have to have repairs or don't have repairs.
What if the HOA is underfunded?
Don't have your buyer buying that condo. A lot of these HOAs, so this kind of affects any type of condo that's built like prior to 2000. Just know that if you have a buyer that's buying in an HOA that has a balcony, is going to be an issue because most HOAs older than 2000 have an issue with being underfunded because they've gone through one market shift in 2008, which really killed a lot of HOAs, and being a member of 3 HOAs that were smaller in my past, most HOAs don't deal with this stuff, and they kick the can down the road, because they don't want to increase their fees for the people that live there, so they're afraid to do that. And what eventually happens is they become underfunded, they have no money in reserves, and now all of a sudden, they have this issue that they need to have $40,000 in repairs for each balcony, and they don't have the money. So then they charge assessments to each of the owners. Sorry, you have to pay $40,000, even if you're on the first floor and you don't have a balcony. I lived on the first floor of my last building, and they all had a $10,000 assessment. I didn't have a balcony, I had a terrace, but I still had to pay. I also had to pay when the elevator went out, and I never used the elevator. Okay?
Yeah, one of the reasons that the HOA refuses to give the documents is if they are in some sort of arbitration. And then they say, well, we can't release the documents because it's in arbitration and we can't disclose that. So for that reason, sometimes they won't fund.
Yeah.
Because, and that's why they won't release it.
Joe, what did you share with me today that's going on in San Francisco?
Oh, what was the, yeah, this was just in the San Francisco Chronicle. What did it say? It said, thousands of condo owners in 126 pre-1975 San Francisco high-rises will have to pay $300,000 or more under an ordinance requiring towers built before 75 to install automatic fire sprinklers in every room.
Each condo,
Each
$300,000.
unit.
Each unit pays $300,000.
I don't know if the headline's a little unclear. I don't know if it's per door or total, but to retrofit sprinklers in buildings like that, I don't even think that's legal.
Yeah, it's going to be challenged.
Yeah, I don't even know how you do that.
I think that'll fall out in the courts. Who knows? Maybe homeowners.
Because if they can do that, they can do anything, right?
Yeah, well, laws can be enacted, doesn't mean they can't be overturned. So, proof on that. So, I want to bring the inspection report up because it's important. But also know if you have a buyer looking in an older condo building that hasn't disclosed their inspection report for the balconies, be very careful with that because you don't know if you're going to get it through the finish line. Even though the condo might seem to be a good price, there might be a huge assessment waiting for that buyer. And you don't want to get that buyer into that type of situation after close of escrow.
Is it only for condos that, like before 2000 or after 2000 as well?
It's mostly older condos built before, like, I would say like the condo I owned was 1969. And when I bought it, thinking that the HOA was pretty solvent, and once I got in there, it wasn't. So we had a small assessment. It was like $1,000 was the first one. And then the next one ended up being $5,000. Because all these buildings need repairs after a certain amount of time. And if the HOA board didn't do their work to make sure the association fees were up to speed to fund reserves, it could be an issue down the road because they just keep kicking the can down.
Seems totally unfair that you're on the first floor, you don't use the elevator, you have a terrace. Why?
Because you're an owner in that association.
No, but it still is not fair.
You're an owner of the association.
It's not fair.
They don't money, money.
I know, right?
Just solve your problem.
It's just not fair.
Robert, what constitutes a balcony? Could it be as little as a Juliet balcony, like with a little walkout? Is that still a balcony?
Read the law, Judy. I don't know the answer, to be honest. It's a certain requirement in space, but off the top of my head, I don't know.
It is a square foot report.
It's not I don't know. Get the report. Here's the good one. Here's another one. This you might not, well, I like this one. Disclosure of third-hand smoke residue.
Third hand?
No, somebody else is smoking and that comes to your condo. Oh.
No, that's second-hand smoke.
Oh, second-hand.
What's third-hand smoke?
Oh, from that, like if a condo has been smoked in the past?
It goes into the carpets, it goes into the walls. So you guys have a new disclosure portion on the TDS.
Right?
So third-hand smoke is chemical residue left on surfaces and in building materials that can persist for years. Maria, quit smoking.
I know.
I'm not going to buy your condo. Buyers retain the same right to cancel as other TDS disclosures 3 days if handled it. So a buyer could cancel if they discovered that there's third-hand smoke and the smoker smoked. So
How do you prove that?
So is that just like in the solar disclosures that they say, yes, this house has been smoked in?
it's going to be added to the TDS SPQ. So know that if you have a place that you're listing where the seller smokes, that might be a question you ask up front to let them know when they go fill out their disclosures. This is a new question that will be asked that you'll need to answer.
How are they going to address rentals? I mean, if you have a renter, a tenant that you have no idea.
We don't do rentals, Maria.
I know we don't, but if you own one and
the renter has a boyfriend.
You mean if an investor is selling their rental?
Yes, exactly. How are you going to know that? I mean, it's like when they tell you they don't have a cat or a
Well,
dog.
I'm
and you
sure
just
there's
tell
a them they have
cat.
tenant law required that the tenant tells the seller
Yeah,
they
right.
smoke. Or the seller
Tenants have too many rights.
informs that it's a smoking or non-smoking. What's that?
You see cigarettes in that cupboard.
Yeah. You can go in and smell.
Actually smell it.
Yes.
Maybe would you suggest that that be a conversation we have before going under contract?
Yeah. Totally.
I didn't know it wasn't smoking.
Okay, the new FinSec anti-money laundering rule is coming out. That's going to be enforced. When is it enforced? March 1st.
March 1st right now.
March
See if it
1st.
moves again.
Yeah, they moved it once. It's now March 1st. But that's for anybody purchasing a property in the name of a trust or an LLC or a corporation, etc. What they're trying to do is prevent money laundering from foreign actors coming in and buying real estate by laundering money through to buy this property. And the responsibility is lying on the hands of the escrow company to make sure that they get that information from the buyer. Now, if that escrow company has an issue of not being able to get that information, escrow could not close, will not close until they get it. So if you're representing a buyer that wants to put it into some type of entity, you need to make them aware that they're going to have to fill this out because escrow company is going to ask them for that information.
And the new development as of last week is that our escrow team is currently in talks with all of our title reps that we work with, because at this point, a lot of the major title companies have decided they will take ownership. We still then have to sign a form that says now title takes it on, and then title will have to confirm it with escrow before we can close your escrow. So as of right now, they're developing what that form looks like, what the buyer will have to do. Some of our title reps already have platforms that are in development, so it will be a new requirement. But as of last week, we think we're gonna have the title companies take it on, and we will have to sign a form that says that we will get confirmation from them to close. Go think so.
Is that national or is that California?
California.
Okay.
Now,
But it reports into FinCEN.
yeah, bear in mind that every escrow company is going to operate differently.
Yes.
So we don't know how it all plays out within each escrow company. So when you are helping a buyer purchase a property in the name of an entity, find out from the escrow company what their rules are to make sure this gets done and taken care of.
Or better yet, write an escrow partner, since you'll already know the process. We'll be very clear about it and get it discovered.
Does everybody understand that law? I want to make sure you get that, because it could delay escrows on something. Okay? Okay. The other thing we're seeing that's popping up is a disparity with escrow companies between when Ariana sends out a commission disbursement authorization that shows who's getting paid on the escrow. So it would be one agent and then maybe a referral agent and then a TC. Some escrow companies, because remember earlier this year, DFPI and DRE sent out a joint statement clarifying that, and they still haven't confirmed now because they were sending mixed messages, but any escrow company that pays a commission or cuts a check to an individual, that individual has to be under that broker's license. Well, that's a challenge for us, because what if we are sending a referral fee commission out to another agent? Well, we can't put that referral fee into that agent's name. We've got to put it into their company's name. Or if some of you might have a TC that is not broker approved TC, then I can't cut that agent, that TC a check directly. Ariana has to send a check here, and then she has to cut the check, which makes Ariana's job a lot harder. I know I did a lot in that sentence, but
Well, I just had one with preferred, California preferred, that they would only do the gross check. It was the agent and the brokerage. So if you weren't with the TC, but like I couldn't even get paid.
Yeah.
Even though I'm under the brokerage, because
Who
I
was that?
wasn't on the contract.
Who was that?
California preferred.
California, okay. Every escrow company treats everything differently, is what we're seeing. I like this one. And this has nothing to do for you guys, probably not, but HOA fines are now limited. So if you live in an HOA and you've ever had a fine, they can't charge you like they used to. Now it's $100 per violation unless it involves health or safety, can't exceed $100, and the board must make a written finding at an open meeting, and owners must be allowed to cure violations before fines, and the notice of hearing results must be sent within 14 days, and it's designed to curb excessive HOA fines and encourage fairness. Anybody that's ever owned in an HOA, you get it.
I like that one. Oh, yes.
I like that one a lot.
Here's good news for us, though, as the industry, is AB 226 has to do with the Fair Plan Stabilization Act. So the Fair Plan is the last homeowner's insurance of resort to go get. And what this bill will do, and it's an urgent bill, they passed it pretty quick, it's going to strengthen the California Fair Plan's financial stability by allowing it to raise money through state-issued bonds. So what's going on behind the scenes with insurance? Here's why your insurance rates are so high. So all the natural disasters we've had in the state of California, up in LA and Santa Barbara, and the Fair Plan has to kick in to pay it. But who's paying that? Who pays it are all the insurance companies, Allstate, State Farm. They're required to fund the California Fair Plan to some degree. What has prevented the other insurance companies from bringing the rates down to where they should be is they don't know the amount of money that they have to put in to the California State Fair Plan. So they're kind of holding off on getting rates that are more affordable until they know how much money they have to pay into that fair plan. That's the holdup and why our insurance rates are so high right now in some areas. And so this bill will help stabilize the fair plan so that the insurers won't have to fund more of that fair plan. Did I explain that enough? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a good thing. This one is the licensee email privacy. So I bring this up because I want to make sure that everybody goes to the California DRE website and make sure that your mailing address is up to date. You're required by law to make sure that you have whatever address you have on file is an accurate address. I know some of you don't have yours updated because we occasionally go through and look at the addresses that some of you may have. Some of you still have the 2240 Fifth Avenue address. Some of you have the 3965 Fifth Avenue address. And some of you have a former home you used to live in 20 years ago. So please go to the DRE website and make sure your mailing address with the DRE is up to date, because it is a punishable offense. You're required by law to have that, okay? So basically what this law does, SB 774, what's the SB number? Remember that number. So the DRE requires each licensee to maintain a current email address on record. That email address is now confidential, not subject to public records requests in the California Public Records Act. And any notices or communications sent from the DRE to that email is legally presumed delivered when sent and protects licensees from spam, data harvesting, and misuse of publicly available contact info. Oh. Clap for that one, because who is on somebody's spam list? Yeah.
Once it's emailed, they're like, handle it. Yes, that's huge.
So yesterday I sent out a fraud alert email. So thanks, Joe, again, for bringing this to my attention.
Sorry, student.
Joe, do you want to explain in real estate agent terms what you sent me?
So I was made aware of, I don't have all the details, but basically in my title wrote something about it. Basically, investors, what they do is they record a document on a property. I'm not sure what the consideration would be, but basically stating that they have some type of interest in the property. And
they record either a fraudulent mechanics lien, a self-created equitable interest document, a memorandum of purchase agreement where there's no real contract is existing, a bogus promissory note or deed of trust,
Yeah, so they attach it to the property, they get it filed, and then does it happen when they sell it, or that was my understanding? If they sold
It shows up as a cloud on title.
Cloud on title, right?
Okay.
So that affects closing, obviously. But one of them that I found interesting was this whole idea that you have a predetermined purchase price that gets recorded. That just sounds like a total scam. Somebody agrees to it today, and they have no idea what the value of their home
But
is.
you were saying investors are doing this.
Investors are doing it.
So explain that in more detail.
So apparently they're just approaching homeowners. I don't know what their criteria is.
An investor off the street.
Investor, yeah. So there's a big one in town that I know was on this one. And basically they file it and
On a home that they're interested in buying.
right. And so they predetermine the sales price at a future date. I guess when they go to sell it, they have to sell it to them. So I mean there's a lot of different ways this can be done, but that was my understanding. I would imagine they probably are targeting seniors. So,
Which there's a lot in San Diego.
I mean, you can easily just go to somebody and say, hey, we'll give you $10,000 if you record this and agree to sell to us for $1 million, whatever you decide to sell.
So the whole intent was these investors are going after these homeowners that they want to buy the property to probably fix and flip. So they're false filing this cloud on title. And then what happens is this cloud on title through escrow is discovered, and they use it as leverage against that seller. Well, we'll get rid of it if you lower the price to this. I'm assuming that's how it's working.
Or just, you agreed to sell it to us for $1 million, and we know the value fixed up is $1.5 million. They pre-negotiated a sales price, and whenever that person goes to sell, they have to sell it to that investor at that amount.
So how will you notice that something like this could be fraudulently filed on a property?
Title report.
A preliminary title report. So it's really important that on any type of listing, in any type of purchase you're helping a buyer, see if you can get the PR and read through that preliminary title report to make sure there's nothing suspicious on there. Because anytime you have a cloud on title, you get to the 9th inning, you can't hit a home run and close escrow because now we got that cloud on title that has to get cleared off. That's fraudulently on there. And bad actors come out in the market, in any type of market, but more so now because of tight inventory for that type of industry. Who gets a text every day? Hey, I'm looking for a place to buy. You got anything coming up?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Brian.
How about that service?
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry. That free service through the county that you register your
That's what I
email
was gonna
and
say,
they can, they'll email you if there's any kind of alert on the title or any change. Would that be helpful in this situation, or does it?
I think that's a great touch. You want to explain what that touch is?
Yeah.
It's
So
a great
the county-
touch for everybody in your database who owns a property. You just want to help.
Right.
That's a great idea.
So the county offers a free service that if you go on there, register your email, they will email you if there were any kind of change filed against your property. And you don't, doesn't even have to be your property. You could put your parents if you want to be, it could be any, which is
Yeah,
the
you have
great
to
thing
be
because I want to
addressed.
take care of my mom's property too, so.
Now, is it just San Diego County you're talking about, or is it
That I'm not
statewide?
sure, but I think it's just San Diego County. It's through the county assessor, so I would think that. I mean, other counties may have it as well.
Yeah, but you're only speaking specifically about San Diego
I'm
County.
speaking specifically of my knowledge of San Diego County.
Okay.
And definitely a good touch. In fact, I had brought it up a while ago that that's a great touch to reach out to clients and family members and friends. Yeah, just to remind them you're in real estate.
So if you want a good touch to reach out to people you're just prospecting to, and maybe, I don't know, they're in your networking business group, your Latina group, I don't know, Michelle. I think that's a great touch. Give her some ideas.
Let's say that happens, how do you fight that?
Well, first thing you do, you notify the title officer. The second thing you do, you advise your client to speak to a qualified California real estate attorney to help them because you can't give them legal advice. Do not contact or negotiate with the filer, and notify escrow immediately, and follow up with clients in writing, confirm that you notified title, recommended they contact legal counsel, cannot give legal advice, and will continue to coordinate with title and escrow. It's all in that. I handed it out.
Oh.
Passed it out. I sent it out yesterday. All right. You didn't read, did you?
No.
Right. Did I see a hand over here? No? Okay. That's it. What'd you guys learn today?